Hello again, Vinyl Community, Matt here, and today I have a whole lot of records to show you, and one CD. So, these are mostly birthday buys. So it was my birthday last week, but we'll get into that. First up, we have a few online buys, not related to my birthday. So I finally picked up a copy of Tommy by The Who. One of those albums that's been on my wish list for a long time. Was not prepared to pay the prices that it tends to go for on eBay, but I finally picked this up for, I think it was $5 plus shipping on eBay. So it's in very nice condition, you know, tiny bit of wear at the top, but nothing to write home about, nothing significant. So yeah, glad to finally have that in my collection. And I also got some 12-inch singles. Now this was a deal I found. It was a buy 4 get 1 free with free shipping as well. They were $2.50 each, so $15 for 5 of them, which I thought was okay. So I got Gina G, ooh ah, just a little bit. Now most people in the US will probably have no idea what this is. I would imagine most Brits will have heard of it. Gina G was the UK's entry into the Eurovision Song Contest. I think it was in '96. Pretty sure it was in '96. And I think it came second, right? And I think it came second to Ireland. I think that was when Ireland were having that streak where they won like 4 of them in a row. And but yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Eurovision Song Contest is exactly what it sounds like. It is a singing competition involving European countries for the most part. that kind of got pushed aside a little bit in more recent years, but that's a different story. And it's been around since the at least since the 60s, maybe even the late 50s it started. I don't remember, but a lot of well-known artists either got their big breaks appearing in the Eurovision Song Contest, or they were already known, but they made an appearance anyway. So the biggest example would be ABBA. They were known in Sweden somewhat, but they became really big after they won with Waterloo, and I think that was in like 73 or 74. And then other artists like Celine Dion, shoot, who else has been? Katrina and the Waves. They actually won it in '97 for the UK. Johnny Logan, he won it twice, I think, right, for Ireland. Sandy Shaw, Cliff Richard. So yeah, a lot of well-known artists have appeared in it. I also got 2 Unlimited, The Real Thing. Not my favorite 2 Unlimited song, but it's not bad. This did have a proper cardboard sleeve, but it was completely roached. There was a ton of water damage, and I just wasn't prepared to keep it, so I've just put it in this paper inner sleeve for the time being. The Shaman, Destination Eschaton. It's probably my favorite Shaman track. This is a 2-disc set. Now this is not the correct sleeve, as you can see, but that's okay. The records are fine. And yeah, like I said, probably my favorite Shaman song from the mid-90s. I also got another Shaman track right here, Ebenezer Good. Now this is a classic. This was a UK #1 in '92. You know, some maybe not so subtle drug references here with the E's Are Good part of it, but yeah, Ebenezer Good, great track. And then finally, like as I mentioned, it was buy 4 get 1 free, so this was kind of my free one, and that is Slipstream, We Are Raving, classic rave anthem. It's to the theme, or to the music, and loosely to the lyrics of We Are Sailing, which was Rod Stewart, right? I think. Somebody might correct me. And then the final record for my sort of non-birthday haul was Nancy Wilson's The Good Life. This was a Goodwill find, $2. Couldn't pass it up. It's on the Pickwick label, which I always thought was British, but it says it. It says it's printed in the USA. Some sort of affiliation with Capitol Records here. So. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know why I thought Pickwick was a British label, because it probably isn't. I guess because I remember growing up with it and seeing it, so I don't know. Anyway, now on to the birthday stuff. So last week was my birthday. I won't say how old, but let's just say that next year it's gonna be worse. Because I can still say that I'm nearly 40 right now. And it's funny, my family, specifically my grandparents and my great aunt and uncle, still give me money for my birthday. So even though I'll be 40 next year, but they sent me $30 each, which was very nice of them. So I went to a record store. Was it my birthday? Maybe the day after, I forget. I was on my way home and I stopped in, and I finally picked up Pink Floyd, A Momentary Lapse of Reason. It's been on my wish list for a while. It wasn't brand new, but it was as good as. It was near mint. Guy wanted $20 for it, and I just wasn't prepared to pay that. I said I can buy it on Amazon for just over $20, brand new. And this is a 2016 reissue. And so he did agree to sell it for $15, which is much more reasonable. It's much more in line with what I'd expect to pay. So I did get this. Now, quick shout out to Hannah. That's Hannah, the Omaha introvert. Please check out her channel. I will put a link in the description below. And I'm giving her a shout out because she does not like Pink Floyd, and I've been trying to get her to listen to some later Floyd stuff, because I asked her which album she had listened to, because I was curious, what would make you dislike Pink Floyd. And at the end of the day, not everybody likes every artist. I get that, but and she had said that she mentioned Wish You Were Here and Dark Side of the Moon, maybe one other one. And I said, well, that's slightly earlier Pink Floyd stuff, or certainly earlier than this. And that it was back when some of their stuff was a little more prog rock. And I think by the 80s they became a lot more mainstream, for better or worse. Some people like that, some people don't. I like it. I like their earlier stuff too, don't get me wrong. I mean, Dark Side of the Moon would definitely be one of my favorite albums of all time. The Wall contains Comfortably Numb, which is probably, it might be my all-time favorite song, definitely in the top 5. But so I said to Hannah, well, you might want to check out some of the later stuff. If the prog rock stuff is maybe a little too experimental, and because it was kind of groundbreaking for the time, especially Dark Side of the Moon. Check out some of the latest stuff. And yeah, Momentary Lapse of Reason contains one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs, which is On the Turning Away. It's just a beautiful track. So yeah, just give it a chance. Give it a chance, Hannah. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So at the same time, at the same record store, I also picked up Roachford, self-titled album. This was only $3, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. I remember Roachford from the late 80s. I thought it was just one guy. Andrew Roachford, I think. Yeah, Andrew Roachford. But it turns out that it's a band, albeit a band that's named after the one guy. There were 2 or 3 single releases from this album, but the biggest 2 by far were Cuddly Toy and Family Man. And Cuddly Toy was the bigger hit, certainly in the US. It was a top 10 in the UK as well. But I think Family Man's the better song. I really do. It's I don't know, I always liked it, and I don't have Family Man on any other format. I do have Cuddly Toy on CD, and I have the 45 of it too, but I did not have Family Man, and I was like, for $3, what the heck? It was my birthday. Speaking of birthdays, now, my good friend Gregory Short, link to his channel below, he gave me an eBay gift card as a birthday gift. So thank you, Greg. Super generous, and certainly didn't expect it, especially as he gave it to me when he was also buying me dinner. So the double generosity. Yeah, thank you, Greg. But I have started to spend the gift card, and one of the records I bought is one that has been on my wish list, a bit like Tommy was on my wish list for a long time. And I do have it on cassette, but I've always wanted it on vinyl, and that is Fleetwood Mac's Tango in the Night. Probably my favorite Fleetwood Mac album after Rumors, I would say. And I got this for a great price on eBay. Normally, and this is an original pressing, normally this would go for at least $15. I got it for $5 plus shipping, and the shipping was only like $3 something. So it was $8 and some change, including shipping. And you can see it's still in the shrink, still got the hype sticker on the shrink. It even still has the store price sticker on it. And this was kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys can see where my finger is right here, maybe. Not very easily, because it's not going to focus, is it? Well, the name of the store, yeah, sorry, it's not focusing. The name of the store is Caldor. It says Caldor 51. 51 presumably being the 51st store. And Caldor was a chain on the East Coast that I'd never heard of. They actually went bankrupt in '99, but they were around since the early 50s, and founded by, was it a husband and wife, or maybe just the husband, I forget. Oh no, it was a husband and wife. That's right, it was named after them. Her name was Dorothy, that's the door part, and I forget his name, Cal. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Caldor, and they sort of a department store type of thing. I think that they did sort of higher end goods. They sold higher end goods, but at cheaper prices. That was kind of their original goal. So that was kind of interesting just to look into the history. So at some point later on in Caldor's history, they sold records. Maybe they sold them earlier in the history too. I don't know, but somebody bought this. I don't know if it has a price sticker on it. No, it doesn't. It just has the barcode on it. So yeah, in the late 80s, somebody went into Caldor store number 51 and bought Tango in the Night. Now, speaking of birthdays, so I mentioned the fact that some of my family still gives me money. So today I went and spent some of that money, and I went to Groover's record store here in Riverside, California, who sadly are closing. Tomorrow is their last day. I thought today was the last day, but it turns out it's tomorrow. And I really went there primarily for one album that Greg had shown on his channel recently, because he also went to Groover's, and he said that they had like a dozen sealed copies of this one album, and he was amazed that I didn't pick it up. Well, I didn't pick it up because I didn't see it. That's why. But that is Alanis Morissette, supposed former Infatuation Junkie. Steel sealed, original pressing. And they still had like 10 of them. And you can see the price here, $5. Well, no, you can't see it. There's too much glare, sorry about that. But it was $5, except it wasn't. Because this is their closing weekend, everything was 50% off. So I got over $50 worth of records for, well, it was 27, but that included tax, so it was probably 23, 24 bucks. And yeah, this goes for a lot of money on eBay. I was kind of, the cheapest I could find was $20, and I'm not sure that was an original pressing. And some people are asking like 60 bucks for this, for a steel sealed copy. Now, it sort of occurred to me, you know, I should have bought all of them and resold them, but anyway, I didn't. So I'm actually going to open this, because Greg, when he showed his copy, he was concerned it was going to be warped. It doesn't feel that way to me particularly, and in fact when he opened his, it turned out it really wasn't particularly warped. Now, normally I wouldn't remove the entire shrink wrap off of an album that was brand new and steel sealed, but it's a gatefold, and I make an exception for gatefolds. Well, occasionally you have to remove the shrink to get at the records, depending on how it's folded, but like if it's a trifold, you might have to remove it. But I think gatefolds are meant to be looked at. I do. I think they're meant to be opened up like a book, so you can see what's in the middle. So we're going to take a look, and that also means we're going to take a look at the condition of the records, and hopefully there's no warping. I probably should have gotten a knife or something for this. I didn't think I'd need to, but oh, you know what? No, we'll be good. We've got like a seam on the back of it that we should be able to pull away here. Yeah, here we go. All right. So let's have a look in the middle. Oh, there she is. There's Alanis right there. Very cool. And it's a 2 LP set, 2 record set. Because it's a long album. There's a lot of tracks on the album. I forgot that there were this many tracks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I count real quick. The only song I remember, or maybe 2, I think I remember So Pure, is Thank You. A well-known song. Now, to be honest, I think this was a big letdown, this album. I have listened to it before on CD, although I don't have it on CD anymore. And but that was a long time ago. I listened to it when it first came out. When was this? 99 or something? 97? I forget. 98. 98, okay. And it just was nowhere near as good as Jagged Little Pill. I was so disappointed. I really liked the song Thank You. I did like that, but you know what? It's been 20 years since this came out, the 20-year anniversary. I think it's about time I gave it another listen, and it's about time I gave it a listen on vinyl. So let's have a look here. Yeah, I don't really see any warping. I really don't. Yeah, it looks pretty flat to me. So that's record 1. There's the label right there. Let's have a look at record 2. I'm assuming that's also good since the first one was good, but just in case. Oh, we have a little bit of a different design for record 2. That's cool. And record 2 looks good. Yeah. So for $2.50, because of the 50% discount, I mean, you can't go wrong, right? Original pressing, sealed. Absolutely. Okay. Next up we have, okay, Tommy Two-Tone, number 2, second album. This of course has the well-known 8675309 Jenny on it. A song with a notorious history, or at least notorious litigious history, because there were like lawsuits filed by people who actually had that phone number. Because some people got like thousands of phone calls when the song made it big. This album came out in 81, but I think the song made it big in early 82 in the US. I don't know if it was a big hit in the UK. I don't remember. I mean, I was only 2 or 3 years old when it came out, so I guess I wouldn't remember it. On the very well-known Columbia label from the 80s and actually 70s too, right? I think that label was used in the 70s as well. So I don't know any of the other songs on it, but this is another album that should have been $5. For $2.50, I'm willing to take a chance on it because it is a classic. I mean, that song's a classic, and I don't have it. Maybe I have it on an 80s compilation CD, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I also got ZZ Top Afterburner. This is just in very nice condition. Again, should have been $5. I paid $2.50 because of the discount. Probably not one of their best albums, but I don't have anything else by them. Although I do have Sleeping Bag, which is on this album. I do have the 45 of that, but yeah, I was like, you know, everybody's got to have a ZZ Top album. It's about time I did, and for $2.50, what the heck. I also got, let's see, oh yeah, Glass Tiger, The Thin Red Line, Canadian rock band. This came out in 86, I think, yeah, 86. And in one of my other recent videos, I showed a 12-inch single of theirs I got. That was sort of a double A side. It had Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone and Someday. Both of those tracks are on this album actually. And should have been $3 for $1.50. Absolutely, very nice condition. It's on the Manhattan label, right there. Which was that a Capitol imprint? I don't remember. Yeah, Capitol. Copyright 1986, Capitol Records, EMI of Canada. So yeah, and you know the other thing I like about Groovers, apart from the fact that the prices are great. I mean, the prices are good even without the discount, but is that all of their records come with an outer sleeve. All of them. I didn't put these outer sleeves on. They came like this. Now, there are some exceptions. They have a whole room where every record is a quarter. I guess today every record was 12.5 cents in there. It was kind of crazy. I did have a look in there. Those records, those are all the sort of lesser, you know, thrift store type records that but I think the last time I was in there, I did buy a couple with them, a couple from that section, and it's an entire room. It's all 25 cents, 12.5 cents. Those ones don't have the outer sleeves, but that's kind of understandable because, you know, I mean, the outer sleeves are worth as much as the records in that case. So, all right, continuing. George Harrison, Cloud 9. My first George Harrison album, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, I do not have any other album by him. He was the only Beatle that I did not have any solo albums of. And a little bit embarrassing. I do keep an eye out for All Things Must Pass. That's on my wish list, but that's another one that seems to go for ever-increasing amounts of money on eBay. So, Cloud number 9. Now, I do have got my mind set on You already. I do have the 45 of that. But, yeah, I was pleased to pick this album up because it does also have When We Was Fab on it, which is a really good track. And, again, should have been $5 for $2.50. Nice condition. No brainer for me. Next up, we have a couple of 12-inch singles, both by Bananarama. First up is Nathan Jones. Now, this was not one of the bigger hits. This was released in the UK. I remember this being in the charts Christmas 1988, so it's very nostalgic for me. And part of the reason I got this is that the I do have the album that this song is on. It's called Wow. However, the album version is significantly different and significantly worse than the single release. I had the single release on a CD, only on one CD, but this is the 12-inch mix, of course, and yeah, I think it's a little harder to come by, maybe just because, you know, the album is not particularly rare. It's pretty common, the Wow album, but yeah, the version of that is not good. It was remixed for the single release, so there should have been $3, $1.50, absolutely. And I also got my favorite Bananarama song, I Can't Help It. Always loved this track. I think it's a great pop song. Again, it should have been $3, $1.50. Plus, it comes with Mr. Sleaze, which was the B-side, which is actually a pretty good track. So, and I do not have Mr. Sleaze on any other format. I also got Even in the Quietest Moments, Supertramp. Should have been $7. I paid $3.50. Now, I got this just because it has Give a Little Bit on it, which is a really great track. They did have another copy of this, and in fact, that's a common theme with this store. They have multiple copies of a lot of albums. They have multiple copies of, let me see, what else? Oh, Afterburner's ZZ Top. They had a few copies of that. They had several copies of a couple of the other records I'm going to show you, plus Alanis Morissette as well. They had like 10 copies of that. But yeah, and I mentioned that just because they did have another copy that was $3 or $4, so it would have been like half the price of this. But the cover wasn't in as good a condition. It had some bends and folds and creases in it, and I thought, you know, with it being half price, I'm only going to pay like $1 more for it, $1.50 more, I guess, to get a really nice cover. So what the heck? So yeah, Supertramp. I do have a couple of their other albums. I have Breakfast in America, and I have the one with the white cover. Is it this is where I'm going to embarrass myself. Desolation Angels, is it? Something like that? Somebody can correct me. Moving swiftly on. Simply Red, Men and Women. This was this their first album? think it was their first album, right? I'm pretty sure it was. I do have this on cassette, but do not have it on any other format, and it should have been $5 for $2.50. Yeah, it's a little bit of an 80s classic. I only really know two of the songs, The Right Thing and Every Time We Say Goodbye, but The Right Thing's a great track. It's a really good song. It really is. I have a couple of their other albums on vinyl. I have Picture Book and A New Flame. So yeah, very pleased to add another Simply Red album. And we're getting close to the end here. We're getting close to the end. Next up we have Ace, Five Aside. This has been on my wish list for a while too. I found it at Zoinks record store in Pomona quite a while ago, and that's where I got A Momentary Lapse of Reason from. But and it was in their dollar section, but it was really rough. It really was, and I just even for $1 I couldn't justify. That's something I found. The longer I've been doing this, the more discerning I've become with the condition of records, to the point where, to make space, I'm thinking, you know, I've been having to get rid of some records. I've gotten rid of some records that I would not have gotten rid of before, but because they just weren't in particularly great condition, I'm like, why am I keeping these? They don't sound good. That's a big aspect of vinyl for me, is that it sounds good. It's not the only aspect. I mean, I like the fact that it's hands-on and tactile. I like the large artwork and the fact that it's a physical medium, and like the smells you get from it, you know, all of that good stuff. But the sound quality is a big part of it, and so I didn't buy that Ace album from Zoinks, and I've held out, and there we go. This one's in much nicer condition. It does have like a hole punch, probably from a promo or a discount sale hole punch. But it's in good condition. It is. And I really like the inner sleeve. I'd never seen it before. Maybe it was missing from that one in Zoinks. It probably was. There. Now, those are all Liverpool fans. Liverpool Football Club. That's soccer for Americans. I'm not a Liverpool fan by any means, but I just think it's a great picture. That's really cool. And of course, this album has probably the most well-known song on it, which is How Long. That's a great track. And when did this come out? 74. That's way earlier than I thought. I thought it came out like in 77 or something. But yeah, very pleased to get that. It should have been $6, so I paid $3. And then the last record, and I got to give a shout out here to Naz Nomad. That's David Michael, because he was telling me on Facebook that, at least I think he was telling me on Facebook, it might have been a YouTube comment, but I think it was Facebook, that he is really into Duran Duran, and he has like every 12-inch single of theirs that's ever been made. And you know what? No, it was YouTube, because he commented on my last video, which was a needle drop of D Ream's Shoot Me With Your Love, and he was saying how D Ream did the best remix of like any Duran Duran song that he'd heard, and I forget what the song was, and he told me, and I'll have to check. It doesn't really matter, but anyway, and he was saying that he has like every 12-inch single of Duran Duran's, and they had a lot of Duran Duran 12-inch singles at Groovers, and I was tempted to buy one or two, especially as they would have been like $1.50 each with the discount. I probably should have done. They had the one I was most tempted by was Is There Something I Should Know, and I couldn't remember if I had it or not. I can't remember which album it's off of. I have two of their albums. I have Seven and the Ragged Tiger, and I have Rio, and I couldn't remember if it was on either of those. And that was a #1 in the UK actually, but I didn't get it. They had Notorious, I Don't Want Your Love. They had like a dozen sealed copies of Electric Barbarella. I probably should have gotten one of those. I don't know, but anyway, I'm mentioning them, and I'm mentioning Naz Nomad because on a very related topic, I don't even know how to pronounce this album name. Shoot. Anyway, it's Arcadia. The name of the album, I'm going to try and pronounce it. Oh, so red the rose. I misread it. I thought it said so red. it's so red the rose. Anyway, should have been $5. I got it for $2.50, and I got it because it has Election Day on it, which is a pretty big hit in the UK. I don't know any of the other songs. I really don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if any of the others were even released as singles. But anyway, Arcadia was like a side project to Duran Duran. And indeed, it's Roger Taylor, Nick Rhodes, and Simon Le Bon. So, I mean, it basically is Duran Duran, just under a different name. When did this come out? 85, 86, something like that? Let me have a look. Where's the copyright on it? Shoot, let's have a look. I think it's 85, but let's see. It is 85, yeah. There's the label. Yeah. So yeah, I found that right near the end of the of today's shopping trip, and I was like, I gotta get it for $2.50. You gotta get Arcadia. And then finally, I got one CD. The CDs were it was $1.50. They were normally $3, so half price. And I got the 5 Live George Michael CD with Queen and Lisa Stansfield. It's really an EP because it only has 6 tracks on it. It has Somebody to Love, Killer, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, These Are the Days of Our Lives, which is the duet with Lisa Stansfield, Calling You, and Dear Friends. I don't know if I know Calling You. Is that a Queen song? I'm being dead serious. I don't think I know the song, Calling You. It might be one of those that I put it on and I know it. And I have quite a few Queen albums on vinyl too, so could be a little bit embarrassing. But yeah, $1.50. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up because I don't have it. And I have heard the first 4 tracks before on YouTube, or I think I might have even had MP3s at one time, but don't tell anyone. And yeah, you know, I remember at the time, of course, this was not that long after Freddie Mercury died. You know, I remember at the time there's a lot of speculation in the British press that George Michael was going to replace Freddie Mercury and be the lead singer of Queen, but that never happened. That was probably for the best, probably, because how do you replace Freddie? I know that sort of Adam Lambert basically did for all the touring in the last few years, but yeah, $1.50. So yeah, pretty big stack. Thanks guys for bearing with me and for watching as always. And little confession, I may have spent some more of the eBay gift card that Greg gave me, so watch this space. There will be another video coming soon, but but the record's aren't here yet, so I think I might have spent a bit more on top of that, but you know, don't tell anyone. So anyway guys, thanks as always for watching, and until next time, bye bye.